Empire were not properly commemorated due to pervasive racism. That's according to a new report. The Commonwealth War Graves Commission has apologised after it found the troops were not formally remembered in the same way as their white counterparts. Britain's Defence Secretary Ben Wallace will address MPs about the findings later. The Director General of the Commonwealth War Graves Commission gave this apology earlier on their website.
The Special Committee's report makes for sobering reading. It is nonetheless an excellent report, and it pulls no punches and gives the Commission very clear recommendations on what we must do to put right the mistakes of the past. The events of a century ago were wrong then, and they are wrong now. The Commission clearly failed many of those it was established to serve by not delivering on its original founding principle of equality of treatment in death. And for that we are very deeply sorry.
Well, it was a Channel 4 documentary, Unremembered, which revealed the story of how more than 100,000 Africans who died serving Britain during World War I were denied the honour of individual graves. The documentary was led by Labour MP and Shadow Justice Secretary David Lammy, and I spoke to him a short time ago.
Look, I do think this is a watershed moment. It's taken 100 years, but the truth is that these men served our country, King's African riflemen and carriers and porters that carried equipment, soldiers, right across the African continent, because the First World War did not begin on the Western Front. It began in Africa, in Kenya and Tanzania, on the Eastern Front. And it is a travesty that they were not commemorated properly. They were not honoured. The dignity in death was not granted to them. And obviously I welcome the Commonwealth War Graves Commission's report, the finding, what they are now going to do about it, and the fact that the Secretary of State for Defence takes this so seriously that he's coming to the House to apologise.
The report, the investigation, says that the reason these hundreds of thousands, and it could be as many as 350,000, it is suggested, these service personnel were not honoured in a proper way was because of pervasive racism. So an apology today, action to honour them properly. How far does that go to addressing racism in society today?
Well, look, the truth is none of us learnt about this history in our schools, and it's still the case that there are many young people in the United Kingdom not understanding this huge contribution to our history and the society and life that we enjoy. But worse still, in situ, in countries like Kenya and Tanzania, the young people have been denied this story because their ancestors have been whitewashed out of history. So this is an important moment. It does go to some of the bigger debates that we're having in this country about how we reckon with the past and understand the past so that we can move through. But I'm just really, really pleased that the dignity that these men deserved, who were dragged from their villages and commandeered to work for the British Empire, the dignity that they deserve in death can be granted to them, and that I hope for future generations of young people, both here in the UK, Europe, but also, of course, in Africa, the Indian subcontinent and the Middle East, can properly understand this history and the contribution they made in World War I.
David Lammy, MP. The United States will